Think of George. George has just graduated from school, and the first thing that comes to mind is to go and dine. Followed by that, he thinks of this expensive suit that he wished he had all this time, and he goes and buys that. Well, before you know it, and even before the month ends, George is now looking for money to borrow. That's the trap that most of us we fall into. Now, in order to move from survival to stability, you need an income allocation framework. You need to learn to manage your finances, or even budget, or to allocate your income. There are many frameworks that you can use on, but the bottom line is you need to live on less than you earn. You need to also invest in yourself so that you'll be able to use your funds or income wisely. You also need to build an emergency fund. Life does happen, and if you're caught off guard, then you'll be derailed and you have to go back to square one. You also need to learn to invest consistently in income producing assets, yourself being the first investment, followed by business or even other assets like real estate. You also need to avoid lifestyle inflation as your income increases. Avoid bad habits. Avoid also bad debts. And then learn to invest consistently and get to a point where you can reinvest profits for growth. Now, if you don't know where to start, you can start with the 50, 25, 15, 10 essentials: investment, stability, rewards, budget. This is where you allocate 50% to essentials. This is what keeps you well, alive, and healthy. It could be your rental or your mortgage, your vehicle loan, insurance, could be medical, car, home, life, funeral, or building. Could also allocate for transport, groceries and food, airtime or data, personal or toiletries, education, family support, household expenses, utilities like electricity, water, and rent. This is important to allocate funds towards this. Then you could allocate 25% to investment. The primary purpose of budgeting or having a money allocation framework is so that you can invest. So you need to invest in assets which can generate income. Unfortunately, we are taught that you need to buy a house. There's nothing wrong with buying a house, but a house comes with costs, and it's not an income producing asset for many of us. It's what we use to stay in order to go and produce income. Yes, for some, we will rent out part of it, or we'll even buy a house that's got a cottage and we'll utilize it to generate income. In those few cases, it becomes an income producing asset. But for many of us, it's something that we are using to stay. So learn to invest in assets which generate income. Also learn to invest in building high value skills. You could do this through online courses or certifications, books, coaching, or workshops. Attend seminars. Don't think of it as an expense. Rather, allocate funds so that you can go for these important life skill development workshops. Invest in income producing assets such as real estate or business. But you can only do this when you allocate funds towards this. Then you need 15% for stability. In order to protect your progress, you need an emergency fund. You build an emergency fund which is able to cover 6 to 12 months of your living expenses. Store it where it's easy to access, normally within 24 hours. With zero risk, it could be a high interest bearing account, or you could put it in your access bond if you have one, or redraw facility where you are able to access it when a need arises. If you use it, replenish it. Once you attain your stability, you can reallocate this percentage to investment. It's important to understand that investing is what is going to move you from survival to stability. Then you need to have 10% for rewards. This is for your guilt-free spending. It could be for vacations, experiences. There's no restraint when it comes to this 10%. It could be for dining out, traveling, hobbies, or even spoiling your family or loved ones. This is just a starting point. You then need to review and adjust regularly. Review as you progress, as you earn more. Learn to review, but be sure to allocate as much as possible to investment and live on the least possible. So increase your investment percentages as your income grows. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe or follow to not miss the next nugget. See you in the next episode. Build an emergency fund. Nuggets Abode. Learn, build, and thrive.